Hey guys, I'm Mark from Porsche Sport and welcome to week 35 of the Premier League review. If you are new to this series, what we do is we take a look at the past set of Premier League results, we take a look at the Premier League table and finish by looking at the top goal scorers. So here is the past set of Premier League results. These games were played on Saturday the 29th, Sunday the 30th of April and Monday the 1st of May 2017. Also next to the games are the times in this video, so if you want to hear about a specific game, just go to the time next to the match and you skip out all the other crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. We start with Sunderland versus Bournemouth. The Sunderland players knew going into this game that they had to match Hull's result or be relegated. So if Hull drew, Sunderland had to draw. If Hull won, then Sunderland had to win. So it was looking quite alright for the match. Sure, they didn't take the lead, but they were holding Bournemouth, and at this point, Hull were drawing as well. But it would all go a bit wrong in the 89th minute when Bournemouth took the lead through Joshua King. It came when Ryan Fraser sent the ball through, and on the end of it was King who took a touch before putting the ball past Jordan Pickford, and it was at this point we all knew what was coming. And that is how the game would end. The first guarantee of the season. Sunderland are now officially relegated and will play in the Championship next season. It's been a good run, Sunderland. You've somehow survived these past 2 or 3 seasons by the skin of your teeth, but it's about time. A good 10 years in the Premier League is something that some teams can only dream of. I can assume only Accrington Stanley fans could dream of having a 10-year run in the Prem. But I actually think it's for the best that you go down here, reinvent yourselves, come back, maybe push for top 12, because Jesus Christ, I don't think you've ever gone past 10th. They've always been a lower table team, always in a relegation fight, and this year was the straw that broke the camel's back. And with this result, Sunderland stayed bottom, whilst Bournemouth jumped up to 10th. And we move on to Everton versus Chelsea. It was 0-0 at half-time, and Everton would have been very relieved with that result as Chelsea were knocking on the door. But as the half went on, Everton grew into the game and they had some decent chances themselves. But Chelsea did take the lead in the 66th minute when Pedro scored a screamer. It came when Pedro had far too much space and he got the ball onto his left foot from about 20 yards out, and he belted the ball straight in the top corner. Doubt 2 keepers could have stopped that one. And Chelsea doubled their lead in the 79th minute through Gary Cahill. It came when Chelsea had a free kick and Eden Hazard stepped up and sent a low ball into the box. Everton keeper Martin Stekelenburg doesn't come for it and it falls to Gary Cahill, who was able to squeeze the ball home from point blank range. And Chelsea would wrap the game up in the 86th minute when substitute Willian got on the score sheet. It came when Diego Costa gave it to Cesc Fabregas on the overlap and the Spaniard cut the ball back across goal, and on the end of it was the in-running Willian who tapped into the net. And that's how the game would end, and I'm pretty sure that this was the game that has wrapped up the title here. This was, in my opinion, the only game that Chelsea would slip up on, as the rest of their games seemed very favourable to the league leaders. But that just goes to show the strength of this Chelsea side, as even a solid side like Everton end up getting dismantled by them. But with this result, Chelsea stayed top, 7 points clear with Tottenham still to play, and Everton stayed in 7th. And we move on to the North London derby as Tottenham hosted Arsenal. The first half of this game was extremely scrappy and back and forth, but neither team could take charge of the game. That was until the 56th minute when Tottenham took the lead through Dele Alli. It came when the Arsenal defence just shut down and they allowed Ali to work his way into the area before laying it off to Christian Eriksen. Eriksen took a shot that was saved, but it fell straight into the path of Dele Alli, who prodded home. And a minute later, Spurs would get the perfect chance to double their lead when they were given a penalty. It came when Harry Kane made his way into the area and Gabriel needlessly wiped him out, and the ref pointed to the spot. I'm not too sure what I think about this one. There was contact. Harry Kane was looking for it, but there was no need for Gabriel to swing his foot. But nonetheless, Harry Kane stepped up to take the spot kick and he buried it into the side netting, and he carried on his great goal scoring record in London derbies. And that's how the game would end. A big day in North London, as this win means that for the first time in 21 years, Tottenham will finish above Arsenal in the league. Tottenham completely deserve to win, and to be honest, I'm just going to target a player here. I'm getting fucking sick of Mesut Ozil. I know Arsenal fans rate him so highly because he is good, but he is so fucking lazy. 9 times out of 10, if you look at Mesut, he'll be walking just looking like he doesn't give a toss. But back to the teams. Big win for Tottenham, who kept the pressure on Chelsea, and this result left Tottenham in second, 4 points behind, and Arsenal remained in 6th. And we move on to Middlesbrough versus Manchester City. Can I just say, Borough played quite well in the first half, despite the fact that they had minority possession. They did defend well, and they did take the lead in the 38th minute when Alvaro Negredo got a goal against his former club. Just knocked my microphone. It came on Middlesbrough breakaway when George Friend sent Stuart down the left wing, and he squared it to Negredo on the edge of the area, who was lining up a shot with his left foot, but he somehow slipped, and he did hit the ball with his right foot, and the ball finds the back of the net via the post. But Man City would get the perfect chance to level the scoring in the 70th minute when they were given a penalty. It came when Leroy Sané sprints into the box and goes down, and the ref points to the spot. Also, never a penalty. Not in a million years. Leroy Sané was already going down, and then he decided just to fall into Darun. Nothing Darun could do about it. Sané basically tripped. But Sergio Aguero stepped up to take it, and he tucked the penalty away. But Borough would retake the lead in the 77th minute when Borough had a free kick and Stuart Downing stepped up to take it. He managed to get it up and over the wall and back down, but Willy Caballero made a decent save to get it clear. But it's here that Man City's defence have a breakdown. City have plenty of chances to get rid of it, but they just don't, and when Vincent Kompany kicked fresh air, it allowed Alvaro Negredo to put the ball back across goal, and on the end of it was Arsenal loanee Callum Chambers, who stabbed home at the back post. But Man City would equalise again in the 85th minute through Gabriel Jesus. It came when Sergio Aguero had the ball on the wing, and he chipped the ball into the box, and on the end of it was Jesus, who headed the ball into the corner. And that's how the game would end. What a game for Borough. They played extremely well and will feel quite hard done by, as if City's penalty was called how it should have been, City wouldn't have got that penalty. You've got to think if Borough showed these performances earlier in the season, they wouldn't be in as deep as they are now. But anyway, with this result, Borough stayed in 19th and Man City missed the chance to go above Liverpool, and they stayed in 4th. And we move on to Crystal Palace versus Burnley. It was always going to be a difficult day for Palace as they went into the game without most of their defence, as Mamadou Sakho, Scott Dan and James Tompkins were all unavailable for this game. And that showed as at their first sign of pressure, the make-do Palace defence crumbles when Burnley took the lead in the 7th minute. It came when Sam Vokes crossed the ball into the box, and on the end of it was Ashley Barnes, who missed his initial attempt, but at the second time of asking, he slots it easily past Wayne Hennessy. And Burnley would wrap the game up in the 84th minute when Andre Gray doubled their lead. It came when George Boyd played a brilliant outside of the foot pass, and that set last year's Championship Player of the Year on his way, as Gray drilled the shot low into the back of the net. And that's how the game would end. Finally, an away win for Burnley. Took you long enough. In all honesty, it was pretty easy for Burnley in the end, as Palace never really bothered them when they got close to the Burnley goal. As far as I'm concerned, this is the result that has kept Burnley in the league, but Crystal Palace still have it all to do, as this result dropped Palace right to the edge of the relegation zone in 16th, and Burnley jumped up to 14th. And we move on to Watford versus Liverpool. It looked like it was going to be a dull first half for the Liverpool fans, but they broke the deadlock on the brink of half-time when Emre Can scored a stunner. It came when Lucas Leiva dinked the ball into the box from inside the Watford half, and on the end of it was Emre Can, who hit a fucking bicycle kick. Yes, a bicycle kick, and it flew into the top corner. I know we've seen some great goals this season, bicycle kicks, 2 fucking scorpion kicks, but Jesus, from Emre Can, I just didn't expect it. What a goal. I highly recommend you watch this goal if you haven't already. I'd say it was better than Rooney's, but then again, I'm pretty biased, but then again, most pundits agree that Emre Can was better because Emre Can was actually moving when he hit the ball, and Wayne Rooney stood still and he still managed to hit it with his fucking shin. Emre Can, it was all lace boots. It was good. And that's how the game would end. A scrappy win for Liverpool and a big win in the hunt for top 4. A win here puts 3 points between them and Man City, who do have a game in hand. And I still can't rest easy knowing that teams below us have those games in hand. As soon as we're all on the same amount of games, then I'll start to settle down. But until then, no. Let's not forget about Watford. They played well in the game, probably deserved something from the match, but Liverpool held on well, and Sima Mignolet actually caught some crosses. Like 3 or 4 of them, which is unheard of. But with this result, Liverpool stayed in 3rd and Watford remained in 13th. And we move on to Manchester United versus Swansea. Manchester United will get the perfect chance to take the lead on the brink of half-time when they were hand-fucking-gifted a penalty. It came yet again as referees give a decision in favour of United when Marcus Rashford dived like a bloody Olympian. No contact, fell over, dived. Rooney stepped up to take it and he scored. That's all you deserve. I'm not going to say anything else. But Swansea equalised in the 79th minute through Gylfi Sigurdsson. It came when Swansea had a free kick and up stepped Sigurdsson, who got the ball over the wall and it flew into the back of the net. And that's how the game would end. Yet another draw for United. And I'm pretty sure that United have now tied the record for most home draws in a season quite ironic that they've drawn a record about drawing. But with this result, Man United stayed in 5th and Swansea stayed in 18th. And we move on to West Brom versus Leicester. A pretty boring first half in all honesty, and a pretty boring game. The only thing we're talking about was the goal that gave Leicester the win when they took the lead in the 43rd minute through Jamie Vardy. It came when Solomon Rondon gave the ball away in midfield, and that allowed Leicester to attack. It ended up with Shinji Okazaki, who gave the ball to Vardy, who took it forward, lifted the ball over Ben Foster, and into the back of the net. And that's how the game would end, and it was a pretty boring game in all honesty. West Brom are in a bit of a run actually, as this is their 5th game in a row that they haven't scored, and their 4th game in a row that they've lost. Leicester really needed this win though, as this has now lifted them to the 40 points mark, and throughout the past seasons everybody said as soon as you get to 40 points you're pretty much safe. But I don't think that 40 points is going to be enough this year. It's that tight down there. I'm pretty sure teams in the bottom 3, one team in the bottom 3 is Swansea, I'm pretty sure they have about 30 points. I just don't think it's going to be enough this year. A few more wins, maybe a couple of draws. I'm sure there's only like 3 games left. I'm not too sure. Get a win, Leicester, and then I'd say that you're definitely safe. I'd say get a win. But with this result, West Brom stayed in 8th and Leicester rose to 11th. And we move on to Southampton versus Hull. The only real thing worth talking about came near the dying end of the match when Southampton had the perfect chance to steal the points when they were given a penalty. It came when Maya Yoshida went down in the box under pressure from Alfred Ndai, and the ref pointed to the spot. Dusan Tadic stepped up to take it, however his low shot was brilliantly saved by Eldon Jakubovic, and the game finished 0-0. Hull deserved a point. I might go as far as they deserved the win. They were brilliant in defence. They hardly ever set a foot wrong in this match, but this match was ultimately the match that sent Sunderland packing, so Hull won't care, as that now is one of their relegations rivals dealt with. Now they just have to outlast 2 more. But with this result, Hull stayed in 17th and Southampton stayed in 9th. And finally, we've got Stoke versus West Ham. There were actually a lot of chances in this game for both teams, but both goalkeepers were on top form in this match, and that showed as neither of them were beaten. Stoke will be happy with this point, as that got them to the 40 points mark, but like I said earlier, I don't think 40 points is enough this year. And West Ham, they need to pick up the pace. They are being dragged into this relegation fight. And with this result, both teams dropped places, as Stoke dropped to 12th and West Ham moved down to 15th. Right then, so that's all the Premier League results I've got for you this week. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers. Starting off with the Premier League table. Start with the top 5, and as you can see, Chelsea are still top of the table after beating Everton. Tottenham kept up the pressure following their win in the North London derby. Liverpool are 3rd after their win against Watford. Man City are 4th after being held at Middlesbrough, and Man United are 5th following their draw against Swansea. Moving on to the bottom 5, as Sunderland are still on the bottom after being the first official team to be relegated when they lost to Bournemouth. Middlesbrough are 19th after picking up a point against Man City. Swansea are 18th after drawing with Man United. Hull are 17th after drawing with Southampton. A lot of draws in the bottom 5 this week. And Crystal Palace make up the bottom 5 after their loss against Burnley. Moving on to the top goal scorers, and as you can see, Romelu Lukaku is still first on 24 goals and 6 assists. Harry Kane is 2nd. He got a goal in the North London derby this week. He's now on 21 goals and 6 assists. Alexis Sanchez is 3rd. He's on 19 goals and 9 assists. Diego Costa is 4th. He's also on 19 goals but 6 assists. And Sergio Aguero makes up the top 5, scoring against Borough this weekend. That took his tally up to 18 goals and just the 1 assist. Right, so that's all I've got for you this week. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be back next Thursday for the next episode of the Premier League review. Yeah, Thursday, because there's just a weird game. I'm looking at the fixtures now for next week. You've got games on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so then I do it on the Tuesday. But then you've got this random bloody game here, Southampton versus Arsenal. It's just on a Wednesday by itself, so I don't really want to put it like in its own video, like just have one game, so I'll add it to next week's. It's either that or add it to the week after, but I don't know. I'll add it to next week's. It's fine. So yeah, following that mini rant there. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can. The link is in the description, or it's at @PortionSport_. If you want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, you can. The links to both of those are in the description as well. Or my channel should be popping on your screen round about now. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. I've been Mark from Portion Sport, and I'll see you soon.